Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to clean shotguns, both pump and semi-automatic. Today I will be using the Beretta Outlander and a Remington 870. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do, always when cleaning a gun, is make sure that the firearm is unloaded. So, 3 times. Always 3 times. That. The first thing we're going to want to do is put on PPE, or personal protection equipment. Because we've been shooting lead through these shotguns, it is toxic and I don't want that all over me. And also, I use eye protection while cleaning because I have gotten gun solvent in my eyes before when I was cleaning, and it wasn't fun. I had to take out my contacts and flush my eyes. It was absolutely awful. So, alright, so we're going to do the semi-automatic shotgun first. First thing you're going to want to do is unscrew here, and most shotguns that are semi-automatic are structurally similar. This is how you take it down. You're going to take that off. Foregrip is going to come off. Make sure that there's no piston in here. This comes off. This is your barrel. Next thing that comes off, you're going to take that, pull your charging handle out, and this comes straight out. This is your bolt carrier. This is your bolt. Okay? This is pretty important. You want to remember how this comes apart so that you can put it back together. I put 74 rounds to this, so I'm going to be cleaning it pretty thoroughly, which is why I'm taking everything out. If it was just 1 or 2 rounds, I'd take the barrel off, I'd swap the barrel, and I'd just put it back together. But since I put a lot of rounds to this, I'm going to do a pretty good job of cleaning it. Alright, so that's out. I'm going to take the piston out of the shotgun, because this piston is what drives it, and if you notice, I'm not sure if you can see it from there, there's a lot built up on this. The next thing you're going to do is take your trigger mech out, which you're going to need a punch and a hammer. There's going to be a pin on all shotguns. There's going to be a pin holding it in. So you're going to take this pin, put the punch there, and you're just going to drive it out. Just like that. And it should come out. If I could get it out. Just like that. So now it's out. So now, trigger mech just comes straight out like that. So now you have a nice empty frame that you can get in there and clean it all out, because again, this is very dirty. Now that all of our parts are here, we can start scrubbing. Now, for the barrel, you're going to want to use, I always use a bore snake. It cuts the cleaning process in half at least, because you don't have to change patches, you don't have to use a breech mop and a brush, just all in one. You're going to want to put some CLP, which stands for Cleans, Lubricates, and Protects, on this. Any form will do. I'm using G96 gun treatment. And don't be afraid if you get it on anything. This is why I'm using a mat. Alright, so always clean from the breech forward. So you're just going to pull this through a couple of times. I'm not sure if you could see all the stuff that came out of there, but wow, already it's starting to look pretty good. A couple of pass-throughs with this, and you should be good. Then you're going to take the choke out and clean the choke and give that some special attention because that's pretty dirty as well. So it's pretty clean. You can always hold it up to a light to make sure that it's nice and clean, very shiny. Next thing you're going to do is take out your choke. And this you're going to use like a toothbrush or something, a metal brush. Now what you're going to do is you're going to squirt some CLP on this, and this is a solvent, remember? So its job is to cut through all this grime. So you just let it sit for a second. The inside of this choke has already been cleaned, but the outside is pretty dirty. So you're going to leave that there. Next you're going to go to work on your piston while that's cutting through. You're just going to squirt some on this piston. Remember, this is the piston that catches all the gas, all that dirty gas. So this should be technically the dirtiest part of your gun. And you're just going to go to work on it. You're just going to clean it with a brush. So this piston is a lot better than what it was. Next I'm going to work on part of my bolt because I disassembled the bolt. It's always good to wipe stuff off first. Get all that you can. Then go over it with CLP. Now since that choke has been sitting there, I'm going to let this sit. This choke, this should come right off. All this stuff right here. In the beginning I could not see any of the writing on this choke. Now I can see it perfectly. It just goes to show you. Again, letting solvent sit on things is always good because it'll eat through. Alright, so choke is cleaned, piston is cleaned. Now this bolt mechanism is going to get cleaned. Alright, clean. Now the bolt itself. Just going to wipe this off as much as I can. So again, CLP. Let it sit. Let it eat away at everything. Next, go to your trigger mechanism. This shouldn't, well, sorry. It's going to be dirty, but it's nothing you can't wipe off for the most part. You don't want to get too into this with a towel or anything because there's a lot of moving parts. And if you get lint and other particulate matter in here, it just gums it up and you might have problems. So again, CLP. Brush. Get in there. And you don't have to do the trigger mechanism every time. It's just been a very long time since I've done it with this gun. So, it's always good to wipe stuff down. When in doubt, wipe it out. There's that. Alright, coming back to this. It's been a little while since I let it sit. I'm going to wipe it off. It's always good to clean this out to prevent light primer strikes. Because if just stuff gets in, this is your firing pin spring. This is everything here. So if you've got a problem with this, it won't fire. Just get stuff out of there. Bolt's pretty clean. Now, something else. You have to clean the inside of this, which is where the piston sat. See how dirty? I can't tell you how many people think that just cleaning out the barrel and wiping out this with the bolt still in it is considered cleaning a gun. It's not. If you shoot a lot and you do that, you're gonna break your gun. Clean this. It's your breech. This actually goes inside here. So this is exposed during the firing process. Like this. This is exposed in the firing process. So you're gonna wanna clean this. Let that sit a little bit. Nice and silver-like. The outside of this is also dirty. You'll be able to recognize buildup. So you just squirt some of that on there. Oh yeah, that's dirty. CLP on the outside of the barrel isn't bad, by the way, because it cleans, lubricates, and protects. If it was just a solvent, yeah, you'd want to follow up with a lubricant. But since it has a lubricant in it, it's fine. Here's your bolt carrier. You're going to want to clean this as well. This is also going to be pretty dirty. While you're doing it, check the welds on it. Make sure they aren't cracked, because you don't want that cracking while you're shooting. If any weld is cracked on a gun, don't shoot it. You take it to your nearest gunsmith, your gun shop, and they can recommend a solution. But don't try to weld it yourself. Not really a good idea. Almost done. Now, wipe down the outside of your stock. Clean your magazine tube, because I can already see stuff on it. Might be a good idea just to spray some of this in the rag and go up and down. You can see how it's coming off. Now for this, just get in there with this rag. Now to reassemble, you do it in reverse order. So first, trigger mat goes back in. Pen. Just like that. So now your trigger mat is back in. Okay. Now you're going to put your bolt back together. The bolt back on the bolt carrier, and then charging handle goes back in to lock it in place, so that when you do this, it doesn't all come flying out. Okay, I'm going to put that back. That. Then you're going to put your piston back in here. I can get it in there. There you go. Like this. Right there. Sometimes you have to send this forward. Like that. Okay. And you're going to take your forearm, slide this back over. Like so. Lock it into place. Don't forget your choke tube. Do a trigger mechanism test. So, what are you gonna do? You're gonna take the safety off, you're gonna pull the trigger, you're gonna hear it fire. You go back, send it forward, and you're still holding the trigger. You're going to let off the trigger and you're going to hear a click, which is the reset. You're gonna pull again to fire. And so then you'll wipe it down one more time. All the shiny surfaces, you're gonna wanna get all your fingerprints, everything off. Send it home. With the charging handle, the trigger. Make sure it doesn't rust. And that's how you clean a semi-automatic shotgun. Now, as for the pump shotgun, there really is only one major difference. And I'll show you. Take your sling off, unscrew. This is the same as the other shotgun. Take that off. Now, to take this barrel out, you can't just pull. It doesn't work. You have to rack the slide forward. It comes out. So you put the barrel right there. Now, this one does not have a piston. It doesn't need one. You do the pumping manually instead of the gas from the shotgun doing it. So, now, pull the trigger, and this comes out. Just like that. There's no piston. It's just this. Take apart the bolt. Inspect everything. Pull this off. Now, in the forearm, you're going to have your bolt carrier, which is this. Now, in the Remington 870, the bolt carrier does not come out. It's fixed in there. It's fixed in there. So, you would just clean this with a towel. This shouldn't be dirty because you don't do any shooting in here. There's nothing that touches that. This is a turkey gun. It's not dirty, so I'm not going to take the trigger mech out. So basically, you would clean everything the way it is and then put it back in reverse order. So this, go back on here, like that. Everything goes in your bolt carrier. And then you go to slide your bolt carrier down the magazine tube. Now here's where it gets interesting. It won't go in here just like that. You need to hit a few hidden switches. The first one, you're going to push up on this, and on the inside of the right wall there's going to be a tab. You're going to press it down and it'll move back slightly. Okay? Now that right tab is locked into place. Now there's one on the left side. You move it forward slightly, and did you hear that? Here, I'll let you hear it again. Now that's on the left side. So now that both tabs are depressed, and then you push back on it. And then you put your barrel. This will actually go in here, but this sits there, like that, locks in. Put this, just like that. Same thing with the trigger mech test. You're going to pull the trigger, slide this back, send it home, release, and that's your trigger reset, and then just like that, works. And that is how to clean a Remington 870.